Welcome to Yoga in the Sun. I'm Sarah and I'm presenting today a small short video on our chat series on yoga as an immersive transformative practice. So this is quite a personal video. It is from personal experience, so just sharing some of my insights and my kind of experience over the course of the last 20 years when I started my yoga practice. So over the past, obviously over the past 2 weeks rather, running up to this 21-day yoga challenge, you will probably have already recognized that the practice that you've been undertaking each time you come on your mat isn't just a series of postures. And I'm sure you've noticed already that there's something shifting perhaps on a much deeper level, beyond the physical plane. Obviously there are many layers to our bodies and our minds and our emotions, and it's really what yoga does tap into is those deeper levels as we practice. So personally, me, Sarah, I came to Ashtanga yoga 20 years ago. I'd always loved sports as a young girl, and I loved riding my bike from about the age of 3, and I was always running about, jumping and climbing trees. And at school though, I wasn't a big sports competitor. I wasn't very good at winning the medals or kind of getting first. But I love sports and I really enjoyed the outdoors, particularly team sports like hockey, netball and rounders. But it was only really until I started doing a self-defense course after school, like a club. It was a bit like a martial arts training, and it was all of a sudden that I fell in love with this form of physical work with the body, and I kind of realised that I'm actually quite good at stretching. Oh, I found something quite interesting. I also love the discipline of the movements and the kind of, action in the legs and the arms with the hitting and the punching. But really it was until probably 15 years later that I would actually start a physical practice of yoga, but the sort of self-defense was like a kind of beginning of my journey, if that's the want of a better word. So it was Ashtanga that really I started. Ashtanga is a much more physical practice compared to Hatha. Ashtanga is really what was laid down by the yogis many thousands of years ago, when the men would come to the monasteries and they wouldn't be able to sit for lengths of time. So it was the Ashtanga yoga that was brought in as a way to get the body moving and get the joints and the muscles toned, ready for sitting. So this was an excellent opportunity for me though, coming to Ashtanga. And I found that I was quite agile, strong and flexible. So I kind of had that body ready for this practice. So 2 years of these rigorous repetitions of Ashtanga yoga. It is physical, this vinyasa style of yoga. And my body really enjoyed and thrived in this environment. And I kind of felt somehow that it was an intuitive practice as well. I was already breathing in Ujjayi breath without even knowing that I was doing it. So it was like my body knew somehow how to breathe. It does anyway, if we know how to tap into it. So really it was after having my first child that I kind of really set my foundation in yoga. And I had my first child at home in a birthing pool, and this was a very cathartic, transformative experience. And it's one that I dedicate really to my practice of yoga as being really what helped me through this shift. I changed my career from being a fashion textiles person, professional, into the realm of yoga. And this shift was taking place after having my first child. And I decided to start doing my yoga training, and that's really what led me to the path of yoga. But the birth of my first child was a very transformative experience, and that's really what led me to where I am today. I think the key of what happened to me was this instinctive nature of just giving birth very freely, listening to my body, and the yoga poses helped me to really ground and earth myself and to trust myself and really understand that the mind is a very powerful influencer on how we think and how we feel towards experiences. And I think for many women, giving birth is such a fearful thing that they try to mask it with all of the pain relief and so on, but I did a water birth, so it was a much more calming experience. And many people say, oh, you're very lucky to have had this experience. I suppose you can look at it in that way, but personally I do believe it was the yoga practice that really held me strong, and through my positive sort of experience of meditating and doing my asana practice every day, I really did plan in my head what I wanted this birth to be, and it came out exactly as I planned. So I do believe that if you think it, it will become reality. I know for many women that's not the case, and I do appreciate it's not easy, and some women suffer some very traumatizing experience from giving birth. And in fact, my own group of friends in England, 4 of them, after my experience, took the risk of doing it at home, and it paid off. They all had fantastic second births at home with their second children. So I really do believe that my experience paved the way for others to take that opportunity and to trust their own selves to do this. So this whole life event, it inspired me, and I decided to do my yoga training, as I said a moment ago, and here I am 16 years later. We all know the multiple benefits of practicing yoga on a physical level, on a mental level. You know, there's streams and streams of stuff on the internet telling us how wonderful it is, and the new words like mindfulness and well-being are all the sort of words that are out there in our common lexicon of describing what yoga does and its influence. So I think, you know, for me today, it's obviously on that level, many different levels. But going beyond that, I'd like to take you to sort of a bit more thought about where, you know, how it makes you feel. And I think for myself, my own personal experience as a teacher of yoga, I'm learning as well, so I am still a student. My students, when they come, when they pass through my doors, when they leave, after the practice, they'll say things like, "Oh, I feel so much better, thank you," or "I feel something has shifted, that's really helped me to move forward in something," or they'll say, "I can't describe how I feel, I just feel so much better, thank you." So there's a huge shift taking place. We don't always know the words to describe those shifts. I think metaphysical is one of the sort of words that is kind of a good way to encompass, because it is on a cellular level and we can't describe that. But fundamentally the breath is the tool, and in fact the prana in the breath is what is bringing us clarity. It's bringing us a sense of peace, a sense of calm, a sense of connection back to our inner bliss center. And in my teachings I try to bring the philosophy of yoga into the practice to encompass the deeper elements and the deeper realms of what a yoga practice is. It's not just physical, we know that. And breathing practices have the same effect on our energy field through our pranic body. And the breath, you know, through our pranayama practice with the rhythmic breathing that we're doing, it's like we're fine-tuning or combing the energy. Just like you brush your hair in the morning, you're combing your hair in a certain manner to dress it well. So is the same with this combing of your breath with the pranayama. We are doing this rhythmic breathing, so the prana is being combed, it's being aligned, and it's enabling us to shift into a more smoother, calmer, relaxed state. And when we're in this calmer, relaxed state, then we are able to attract those same good feelings back to us. You know, when you feel upset or angry, your breath starts shifting up into your chest, and everything around you starts to become angry with you, you know. So as we align our energies in this way of regulating our breath through pranayama, we sustain calmness and balance. And you know, when you're upset, the opposite happens. So everything around us can reflect the same disturbances. So if you're feeling disturbed, things around you will feel equally disturbed. Thus, pranayama is key, and the guided breath through pranayama has the supreme purpose of leading us back to the stillness, leading us back to our center. We all have that still place, we all have that bliss center, and we're constantly having to remind ourselves that it's there. We just need to know how to get back to that place. And for some of us, it's doing the asana. And as we progress in the practice, it will be the breath, it will be the pratyahara, which is another excellent way of combing this energy to bring us back to our sense of self. So as I said, pranayama is its supreme purpose is to lead us into stillness, but also it's a transformative practice that we are guiding ourselves towards, and that is our meditation. So pranayama is a wonderful practice to do before meditation. Just as asana, yoga postures are preparing the body physically to sit and to move, pranayama is aligning our mental and emotional patterns. So the next step is then withdrawal of the senses through pratyahara, and this allows us to dive even deeper within. The practice of pranayama and pratyahara slowly allows us to unveil our true self. Thus we ascend unencumbered toward the light and merge within our divine nature. So remember, yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, to the self. So thank you for watching this video. This has just been a little video about my journey. We all have our own journey, and we're all still working on this journey towards some level of, coming back to who we are. I do believe that, the child within us is really the person who we are, and we just need to go back to that little child sometimes and ride our bike or do the things that we love, whether it's just jumping in your pool or going to the beach and just having fun and laughing with friends. But would really like to say thank you for watching this video, me babbling on. Thank you to Sureka for taking this challenge of the 21 days with me, and to all of you for signing up. We are reaching the end of this journey, but this is just the beginning, and I hope you're still keeping your 21 rounds of Surya Namaskar in your mind, ready for Friday, the 21st of June. And just like to say, if anyone wants to come for a class at the yoga studio in Petit-Raphael, you're very welcome. I'll be having retreats toward the end of the year this year, and workshops are still coming every week. But Soma Guidance is also going to be offering 10% on all of her services, so please sign up for a class with her or a therapy session. And thank you again. Namaste.